Hi guys, and welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So today I'm going to do cards on Michael Monkey Vaughn. So I just want to explain again for the people that I guess don't listen to the beginning why I'm doing cards and why I'm revisiting. So Spirit led me down the path of using cards to get more perspective on cases. So I am going back to old cases that I have already completed or done readings on, not necessarily completed because I may always revisit, but I'm going back through and seeing what validates with the cards, what extra information I can get, because look, in the long run, what's important is we find the people or help find the people or lead, puzzle pieces to that direction. So that's what's important. And whatever tools that you use to do that, that's fine. If you don't like the card readings, you definitely don't have to watch them. They're not for your benefit. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. They're not. They're for Spirit's benefits and because I follow Spirit and do as I'm told. So there's a reason for all things. There's a reason that Spirit is having me do this. All right. So again, I may misperceive the cards and may not perceive them correctly. I am learning and growing as well. And I am learning to hone in on the cards. I am learning to see what they mean, how they fall. They were highly accurate on the cases that I've used them on, especially with Matthew and Savannah. They were actually more accurate than I was with my reading. And I'm okay saying that because cards are an extension of you. So I still had the information, and it's about perceiving the information. Now, you do the same thing when you have visions. It's how you perceive the information in any way, shape, or form that you get information from Spirit. So whether I perceive them right or wrong, I'm only a human being. I'm not a mystical being. So sometimes I get intuitive hits off the cards. Sometimes I see locations. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get extra information. Sometimes I don't. It's different than channeling. I'm connecting to a different level of channeling when I do this. I'm not in a deep channel. It's a little bit harder to get information this way, but practice makes perfect in all things. Okay, so I still do my other readings, but Michael Vaughn was a very hard one. I actually did it live when I started doing live cases, and I struggled a lot with that, almost like there was a block on it. So I may have picked up someone else because I was struggling. I may have not gotten the correct information. I don't know. That might be something, again, that I'll have to revisit. Like, again, I'm not perfect. I can only give you guys what I'm shown. And I don't know why I'm shown what I'm shown half the time. Sometimes it does connect to other cases. Sometimes there's interconnects. There's a link down below on how interconnects work if you're new here and if you don't understand and how Spirit works. I've put many videos out. You can always check the playlist for that. So this is something I've been thinking about recently. I'm trying to go in the direction that Spirit's leading me to do these cards. It's extra content when I can't sit down and do a full reading because I don't have a sitter or I don't have the energy. And again, it's also, I get curious on what the cards are going to show compared to what my readings gave. So there's nothing wrong with getting extra information on however you may do that. I am not a pro at reading the cards. I am learning as I go. So again, this is for extra content, extra information, and hopefully bring new insights into the case. Now, I do know that they arrested some people. They let go of some people. I don't know the full gist of everything. I'm going to try to keep my cats off here as I do this. Sorry, Salem. He's been like laying all over I don't know what's going on with him, but he's not normally like that. So these cards are a little bit confusing. And remember, it's a matter of perception. Cards can have multiple meanings. So as I'm trying to figure out the meanings, again, I'm not like, I can only give you what Spirit gives me. I can only perceive the cards as I kind of feel that they may fit. Again, I may misperceive things. Just like I may misperceive a vision or a feeling or whatever it may be in a reading, it's the same thing here. But I will do my best to perceive the cards and everything the best way that I can. Sometimes it's future information that comes in the cards, and sometimes it's other things that surround the case that comes in the cards. So do keep that in mind. Like, there's a part here on the area that the police feel that came up in the cards. So sometimes it is the validation of that sometimes. So I usually don't like to do things on cases once they've been released. I feel like it taints my reading. But I don't know. I feel the pull to do this in hopes that maybe it will be helpful. Okay? Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This is for entertainment purpose only. And I guess maybe viewer discretion is advised. I don't know. Like I said, sometimes I get hit, sometimes I don't. I can't promise. Spirit balls are up here. All right. And sometimes also, so what may have happened in the live reading is I was seeing like an older man. Apparently that is the neighbor to where there's an older man that's a neighbor to where these people live. So I can get things around the case. I can get people connected to the case, and I can get people connected to the situation. It's not always, sometimes I can't always see the perp. Sometimes I can't always see certain things that I want to see. Everything has to do with timing. So I don't know. Like I said, I may jump back into this and do just a reading that's not live, because we noticed that the live readings are harder because I can pick up on people's minds and stuff, so they're not that accurate, we've noticed. So a lot of the live readings that I did last year, we may revisit those. Idaho 4 is the exception, but I still picked up on things that the chat was saying. So we try not to do it that way anymore. Anyways. So I do have to say that this does still drain me. Spirit does still become present during this time, and I even get a little bit of drain and a headache. I have a major headache with this for some reason. All of a sudden, the whole time I was pulling cards, and I only got to pull. I ran out of room, so I'll have to pause and pull the rest of them. But we're gonna start off with hopefully what happened, who's involved, and possibly an area or location that this is giving. And one thing I do know is whenever I did tap into Michael, I kept getting the river. So the cards seem to back that up. All right. So I'm going to add my other camera here. Also, all the ways to help me out and support this channel are down below. If you do want in on the Spirit-led session, there's only 2 more days to do so. It's $25 to join. All the ways, there's a link down below called Linktree, and then you can find all the ways to pay there, and then you would email me if you want to be involved in that. It's a private Spirit-led group. I think we have under 10 people in there, so it's not going to be very big so far, unless that changes in the next couple days. If you want to get a reading, that's also down below. Anyways, all the ways to support me are there. All right, so first of all, let me add this camera. Okay, there we go. I like the smaller one because having the two of them kind of looks kind of weird. So the first card we have is the rope card, and that could mean that he was tied up. Could mean a rope was used. Now, again, I always say what this could mean because I don't know for sure. It's a matter of perception. So I do the best that I can. All right, but definitely that's why I'm getting the rope involved. And I'm also getting the kidnapped card, so it's coming across in these cards that he was kidnapped. And that he was alive for a certain amount of time. Okay. Now there's 2 cards here that are kind of throwing me off a little bit, and this could be something in the future. So there could be somebody that's involved that may attempt to unalive themselves later on. I did pull this card with Jen Doulos, and her husband actually did that, not at the same time, but later on. So it is a possibility of that, or they could at least attempt to. It could also, I guess have, I don't know. There could be thoughts of that as well. But it feels like also somebody may have been on the D's. I don't really feel that they had a lot to do with it, although maybe they did give him some. I feels more like the person involved may have been on the D's. And then we have the, okay. And then we have another of this card. So again, this may be something in the future. That's the only way I can say, unless it's somebody that's involved that we don't know about that's done that. That's always a possibility too, because we don't know everything about the story. So that's what I always tell people on the readings. Like, people say, oh, this is wrong, that's wrong. Nobody knows. Nobody knows the whole story. Nobody knows everything surrounding it. So that's something we have to keep in mind. So trafficking, that could be a lot of different things. I feel like maybe there was things done to him in terms of trafficking, not necessarily that he was, I don't take it as like he was sold in that way, but there could have been other trafficking going, like the person involved could do that kind of stuff in the past or whatever it may be, or a lot of times when people are taken, I can get this card if an assault of some sort happened and whatnot. As we know, he's still missing. And I also pulled the assault card. So we can take that in a few different ways along with the trafficking card, if you guys get my drift. Okay. We have a hijacked card and the kidnapped card. So hijacked card and kidnapped card are together, meaning that he was kidnapped. And then he was unalived. And this is showing us our object was involved in some way. He was unconscious for a certain point. And also there was a weapon used. That's what it's showing. Okay. Now it's kind of hard to read this without having a certain person in mind because of what we already know. All right. So that's very hard to do. But according to these ones, according to the cards of where he was that I pulled, it could very possibly be that the cops are onto something in that way, shape, or form. They just don't have the evidence. All right. So we have a reptilian, someone that's snake in the grass. That's how I always take this card. Snake in the grass, bad person, not who you think they are, someone that's maybe hiding in plain sight, someone that's maybe a part of the community that you would think would do this, or you know, you don't know anything about them in those terms, like they're just a snake in the grass. That's how I always take this card. I tend to get it a lot. So these two cards are a little confusing because I got the affluent and the royalty card. So that could just be that they're connected to people that are like this, or it could just be that they have a job. Because I tend to get like the affluent card, like if they run their own business, if they have a job, if they're working, if they're not like a complete bum. But they could also be connected to people that are like this. And then we have someone that's a con man, pretends to be someone that they aren't. We also have someone that's a giant. So that can be big, that can be tall or big, somebody that's bigger stature. Sorry. They could have a family or be connected to a family, or maybe even want a family. You could take it as if there's multiple people involved, they could look at themselves as a family unit, not necessarily blood. You could take that way as well. There's a military connection somehow, unless it's, I don't really understand what this card could mean, unless it's in their background. Every time I've pulled it, though, there's been a military connection. We have a false person, so there is a false person that's being pointed at somewhere, shape, or form, that maybe wasn't involved, but is said to be involved, but maybe doesn't really know much. But it's weird because when we have the male cards, this is definitely a male. I did not pull the female card, so that doesn't mean she doesn't know anything, but I didn't pull a female card. I only pulled a male card and a friend card. So this could be a friend of a male. Actually, it could be the friend. It could be the friend of the spouse partner. So, because we get false person, male, and then we have friend and spouse partner. So, if we go by, I'll get to the point of the cards where I feel like maybe he actually was in that yard because of the cards that I pulled. We have a friend of the spouse partner maybe in that household. Okay. But there is also an accomplice in crime, maybe helping cover it up. And then we have the rival card. And someone that's a bad guy. So I keep thinking of the one person that's in the house, the um darker featured guy, the one that's, I don't know what his um the Hispanic looking guy, like that's the one I was thinking of while I was pulling the cards. Like he kept popping in my mind. For some reason. And when I saw the picture of him today, I didn't really like his energy. Okay, so there's something like off about that guy. I'm not sure if everybody in that household definitely knows, but it's almost like if I was there alone and I saw a kid in a vulnerable state, like I would do something like that. Like that's the kind of energy I pick off allegedly of him, because it's almost like, a friend of the spouse partner, if he's a friend of that woman or even the guy, and then we have the spouse partners that are in the same house, which we're going off of those people because of what I pulled with the where the body was originally, and I'll get into that in a minute. So that's why I'm thinking that this is, hmm, I mean, there might be a false person, like they might think one of the people know things and maybe they don't know everything, or maybe they're not completely involved. Um, and the crazy thing is like I'm gonna have to do another reading on this, I think, to get full answers, like on the who, because again, I kept seeing an older male, but that could just be a connection. That could be the guy that, because there is one that lived next door, right? Um, but I'm going back to like a male friend of the spouse partner. But the thing that the giant card, so that could be someone that's really tall or big. Okay. So I mean, there could be, because then we have the acquaintance card, the bad guy acquaintance card. We have the police card. So whenever I pull the police card, I take it as like the police know the person or are aware of the person. It's not always like, it's not, I don't take it like the police are involved. It depends on the situation, of course, and the cards. But in this situation, I feel like it comes across as acquaintance to the police so that police might know who they are or suspect them. I only got one person with this. Now that could mean one person committed the crime because we also have an accomplice in the crime. So after the fact, maybe there was more involved, but in the kidnapping and all of that. Um, but he's a terrorist. So I always get that with bad people, the terrorist card, because anytime that you kidnap a kid or do anything to a kid, obviously you're a terrorist. And then the spouse card again. Now, I don't know how big the one like Hispanic guy is, but we know that the guy, the guy spouse is a large guy. Um, so it's interesting. The giant card, they don't have kids, but it's still considered a family. We have a husband and wife. And I've pulled the spouse card twice. Spouse partner card, friend, spouse partner, accomplice in crime. So could be like one of the friends and the spouse partner. I didn't pull the female card. I only pulled the male card. And then we have a burglar. So obviously, if you're still a kid, you're a burglar. There might be some also things in the past that are, in one of their past that they stole something or were a burglar of some sort. Because that could also, you know, be there as well. Um, I'm just wondering because we got the con man here. So this could be someone that's pretending to be someone that they're not. So also the snake in the grass. So even if they say they're innocent, they might not truly be innocent. But I mean, I did get a accomplice in crime, but it makes me wonder if the one person that's terrorist, like he was the one that was like the one that kidnapped him, the one that decided to do it, doesn't mean that nobody else is involved. Okay. male, friend, spouse, partner, accomplice in crime, rival, bad guy. So I decided to pull a few more cards because I don't know. So I pulled the assassination card. So I take that. It's not always assassination, but it can be just because someone was taken out. I'm just wondering, the parental figure, and I'm not saying the dad is involved. It may be because of him. I wonder if the dad, like, I don't know what the dad is into. I think the dad drank, didn't he? Or something like that. I don't know if he's into anything else, but you can take it as someone that's, I mean, I don't know if any of these people have kids or they wanted to be, I don't know. I don't understand that one. It could be because of the parental figure. Like I said, I know the dad drank, but I don't know if he was involved in anything else because we do have the D's poison here. So did the dad know somebody that like he owed or something like that? I don't even. We have the devil and we have the female. So there is a female card. And she's apparently the devil. Because it's coming in together. We have the devil and then the female card together. Okay. Hiding out, which I think they are. Yeah. Again, terrorism. So this is a terrorism act by taking him and doing what was done. So they may all be involved in one shape or form, but there could just be one person. Like, I don't know. I might have to auto-write with a consultant or do a reading. I'm not sure yet how I want to do this, but it's hard when stuff is out because then it's like, am I seeing that because it's out or because that's what happened? You know what I mean? Because remember, visions come in the form of thoughts. It's just the way they do. So the way this is coming across, I do feel like they could have their eyes on the right people. So I pulled a couple more cards. We have other people involved, so other people do know. Family member. So I'm not saying that, again, I obviously know that the mom's not involved. I'm not saying the dad is involved, but the people could connect to him or it could connect in some like strange way that we're not aware of. And it's because of, that. Because that's kind of how I want to take the cards, that it's more like it could be, and a part of this was because he wasn't watching him or whatever that may be. So that could be why he comes up in the card. Oops. Okay, so for the location, I'm hoping I get some visions off of this, like I do when I do locations on this. So the very first card off the bat was underwater. All right. Then we have, and I always got like the line. So whenever I get a line, it's like state line, county line, city line, something like that. We also have neighborhood. We have school. These could be things around the area, okay, guys? And landfill. So it could also be that they put things in the landfill as well. We got another water card. So water's definitely involved. He could be in the river. That could be why I kept seeing the river with him. And the fields I saw could be around and hidden. And then we have water supply. So there's lots of water cards, by the river, in the water. But the thing is, it said I got the underwater card as well. And we got the river, water supply, river, water, underwater, hidden. hollow earth. Might be some hollow earth nearby. Underground. I mean, if he's in the water, that makes sense. There's also, those, what are they called? Like tunnels that go like underground and go like, let out the water and all of that. Like there's those as well. And we have outside. We have boat, so that's another water card. It can just be like next to the water. It could be that there's boats nearby. Mountains. So mountains, it could be that there's mountains around Mount Bones, obviously. They could have burned something because there's a fire card. Okay, now this is the part that's like, yeah, maybe he was in that property because we have private property, inside, home, burial, and road. There's our house off of a road. So those are the cards I'm saying, like, kind of validate the fact that maybe he was buried at a private property. So then we have, I pulled the school card again, so I don't know if there's a school around, anywhere around there. Underground vehicle, so they took a vehicle to go there, obviously, because they moved in probably, but it's a random area. Frozen. So sometimes when the water freezes or whatever, I'll get this card, or if it was really cold at some point, and then dumped and outside. So according to these cards, it looked like he was at a private property buried at one point in time. That's what I'm saying. Maybe they do have the right people because that private property card is there, along with being buried home, outside. So, but now, according to this, there's a lot of water involved. So, and I always saw the river at first, whenever I first tapped in. That was the only thing I really got that, like, right away. I mean, I got fields and stuff around it. Doesn't mean the fields aren't accurate, but I always got the line in the water, the line in the river. There's lots of water cards here, lots of water cards. So he's either in the water or by the water. And sometimes they have those tunnels and stuff too. But I did get the underwater card. I just realized something. So the trafficking card could also be trafficking fees as well, because we can get that when we're trafficking anything. So, okay, so I had to clean up the other cards and pull some more. And I'm just getting like the weird feeling of this was just like some weird, like, sex thing. Like a bunch of people just took a kid. You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say that, but it's alleged, and this is just what was coming to me. Like, there's a weird vibe behind it, especially with one of the cards I pulled with it, or a couple of cards I pulled with it actually. That this was maybe used for like he was maybe used for bad things. I hate to say that. Oh, I hate to say that. And my head's already worse with that. But it's kind of the thought I had. I've never had that thought with this before. So, so we have the power card. I feel like this comes in like they felt like they had power over him because he was a kid. Sad card. Marriage wedding card. So this could be, again, well, you pull the spouse partner card and stuff. So this could involve, some people that are married. This could be greed in some way. Through this, there's going to be healing. is a flight risk, so hopefully they're watching them, which we all know. A lot of I feel like there's a lot of mental health involved in this. I don't think these people are mentally sane. Just some things like feelings I'm getting, like love, like I hope I'm wrong. I hope they didn't involve Michael and their gross little party or whatever. I don't know. This is gonna be solved. There's a warning around it. Confession. So somebody's gonna confess to something. Michael may have actually been being watched. We're not aware of it. Obviously, he's in the area. He lived in the area. They lived in the area. They might have been watching him change. So there might be there might be something with time. The timing of something may be off. Strategy. And these two cards is like, I was like, huh. So like party and cult. And we could consider them, everybody in the household, kind of like a cult. Maybe this was part of like the gross party thing. Like, I don't know. That kind of like comes in a little bit. And I hope that's wrong. I'd just be curious if they use, because affair, take that as there is control. I feel like there is somebody that's like controlling. It's weird because I keep feeling like that. Like the female is like really like pushy and controlling and stuff, and maybe not all there. Like I kind of get that with her. There's a paper trail of some sort, but I feel like there's a couple people that are loyal to this situation or loyal to each other. There is drama surrounding this, and so there was a cleanup involved. We all know that. There's something that's top secret that's not being brought out. Prophecy. So I don't know. That can be sometimes that somebody hasn't had an intuitive punch or intuitive feeling about it. Or that it's kind of unfortunately something that's supposed to happen, that there's freedom. There's regret. It's interesting because there's a communication card and an incoming message. So somebody was communicating via text, via phone, via some kind of message that maybe they'll be able to trace. It can be somebody that maybe is successful in one way, shape, or form. I get a fired card. I don't know. Money. Treason. Someone's lying. Rumors. Lots of rumors going around. Unseen danger. There was unseen danger with Michael. He could have been being watched, and they wouldn't know he was in danger, not even himself. Social media. Lots of social media stuff going on. There may even be, some kind of evidence in social media. His DNA. This is the card I'm like, huh? Because I'm just wondering if there was something more sinister behind this, is the way it's coming across. Abuse, neglect. Because abuse, neglect come with this one. Reversion. So I feel like there may be, I don't know, I'm allowed to say on YouTube, pedophiles involved. And there's everything. So there may be, that may have been part of the reasoning behind it. The perversion. So there's stuff that was kept secret, covered up. On the run. I don't know if that means that there's somebody else that's on the run, or if it's the fact that they got let out. Or I don't know how many of them got let out, 1 or 2 or whatever. There might be someone on the run that we're not aware of that might know of something. That could also be possible. But we have jail and justice card. eventually. I just don't think they have enough evidence right now. Government. So government involvement, that could be FBI or whatever. Alcohol seems to be a factor if they drink or whatever. Break in, I take that as like they didn't even have to break into the house to get him, you know. I take it also as like a kidnapping, robbery, like anything like that. But who knows? Really. Cell phone records may provide important clues. So I'm sure that they're onto that, but that might be why I've got the communication and stuff here. Interviews with relatives or friends may provide valuable clues, and killer may have an item belonging to the victim, so they might have kept something and put it somewhere. Who knows where? But according to these cards, somebody kept something. Somebody kept a souvenir. And I just get like a weird, like, cultish, perversional party. I don't know if that's just what they were into, or they invited Michael into it allegedly. I don't know. Like, it could just be like they're into like the weird stuff, you know. And this had something to do with getting rocks off, I think. Anyways, I'm gonna have to do an auto write on this. I'm gonna have to do a reading on this. I didn't get much as I'm doing the cards, and I'm still exhausted from doing them. So I don't know really how helpful this was. Hopefully it was helpful. And excuse me. I'll try to do more on it. Actually burning up right now. And hopefully I'll try. Okay. I do the best that I can. And again, these cards are just for extra information. And it's, you know, sometimes I get a little bit more on the cards with the cards. Sometimes I don't. It's just, I can't control it. It's something that I'm still learning, growing with. And so hopefully it's helpful in some way. I don't really know. It seems that they have the right, my ear's doing something weird. It seems like they have the right person because of those other cards that I got. Ear's doing something weird. Oh my god. My ear just felt like, you know how like when you have water in your ear? And it does like, that's the weirdest thing that I just felt in my ear. It was doing this stuff like if like water stuck and you gotta get water out. That's so weird. That's the only thing I can compare it to, because it was like vibrating inside my ear. I don't know. That was odd. And I've got a really bad headache. But I mean, I don't think that cops are looking at people for no reason. I just don't think they have all the evidence, and I think they will get the evidence. And I don't know, this is kind of like, I get like a weird vibe or feeling around it. And it's hard, again, to do an auto write or reading on a case because people are going to come at me and be like, well, that's out, that's out, that's out. I can't help it. If I feel pulled to a case, I'm going to do it. Stuff that's out there is going to come in. I'll never say it unless it does come in. But I'll try to get extra information. I don't know. I'm not perfect. I just try to do what I can do. So I just try to be a voice for the victims, and that's it. So please be kind in everyday life. Please be kind in the comments. Please be kind to my channel. And I will see you guys next time.